first of all, talk to us then about these negotiations. They've been dubbed sort of a momentous milestone for Afghanistan. How hopeful can we be?
Nadia, as you mentioned, these negotiations were initially scheduled to start back in March, but they had to be pushed back not just once, but several times because of a number of issues. And one of those was the contentious topic of prisoner exchange, which has seemingly been resolved. However, as we'll hear later in the program, there's still a number of stumbling blocks that they need to deal with. Something else to keep in mind is that we're dealing with two very different entities here. On one side, we have the strict Islamic theocracy, and on the other side, a democratic republic. So there will be many obstacles to overcome. And for more on this, I'd like to welcome to the program Kawun Kakar. He was an advisor to former President Hamid Karzai and who joins us from Kabul. Sir, I'd like to welcome you to France 24 this Friday. Thank you so much for being with us. We know that the ceremony is kicking off on Saturday. Thank you. And one former Afghan official told me, this is it. This is the time to clinch that agreement. But we have to acknowledge that there will be costs for both sides. What do you say to that?
I think it is no doubt a historic event, and I think there will be an attempt to bring peace to Afghanistan after 4 decades of war. But I think the expectations that this will give us a quick breakthrough would probably be unrealistic. It will be long, contentious, as was said, and difficult road. But nonetheless, this is a major kind of a historic event, and it has taken a long, difficult steps to get here. Afghans are hopeful that now that Afghans actually on both sides are getting together, it's representative of Taliban, the government, other key political actors and some civil society representatives are getting together and charting a course for the future of the country. And no doubt there are some extremely contentious, difficult issues that they will have to deal with.
And that's the next point, long and contentious negotiations. Can you talk us through some of the obstacles that will be on the table? Of course, one of them happens to be a power-sharing agreement.
Well, I think if we can say in short, it would be the big issue would be the two systems that the two sides are actually adhering to. It's the emirate versus the republic. That would be the kind of what shortens what the big issues are, which that means is whether Afghanistan would be a theocracy, whether it would be a republic, what would be the rights of the individuals, how rulers would be chosen, they would be elected or chosen. Otherwise, would there be a power sharing? Would the Taliban join the current government? Would there be some alternative that they would be discussing? And whether there will be a transitional period or the continuation of the current constitutional framework. And of course, what would be the women's rights? We have a history of some that raises serious concerns about the kind of the rights of women and the minorities and others being fully adhered to or respected. How will they be tackled? The right to education and so forth. Of course, the nature of the state of the country would be at stake as well. So imagine there are a lot of, I think all that would tell us that expectations should be tempered. Hope that both sides would have prioritized the issues, hopefully focus on issues where they can get quick agreements. One of the other big expectations that Afghans has is to get a ceasefire as soon as possible, or certainly substantial reduction of violence, which has been very costly for Afghans throughout, that they will be wanting that to see progress on that.
Kawun Kakar, very briefly, we don't have much time left. I'm just going to pose one last question to you, if you can respond very briefly in 30 seconds. The Americans have said they will gradually be withdrawing their troops if we see less attacks from Taliban. Do you think that's the only way to give Afghanistan back to the Afghans, or is that going to leave some sort of a security, a power vacuum for the insurgents to take advantage of? Very briefly, if you can.
Well, yeah. Quickly, one of the biggest issues for Afghan peace process to succeed is the engagement and the support of the international community, and in particular the U.S. and the rest, and also transparent and full support of the regional actors. So the U.S. and others will have to stay the course. in order to see the Afghan peace process succeed. Otherwise, we've had some really terrible alternatives have happened in the past, and Afghans on their own right now need the support of their friends in order to succeed.
Kawun Kakar, I'd like to thank you so much for sharing your insights with us here on France 24. Nadia, there you heard it, a plethora of issues to hammer out. Big question is, as the Americans are saying, are they going to be able to hit that November US election deadline? It doesn't look so likely, does it?